Thank you. My name is Robert Bilic. I'm a franchisee and entrepreneur, and I've been in that kind of business for 15 years. My education is air transportation, University of Air Transportation. I worked for 1 year in the airport, local airport in Split, and after that I started as a franchisee of McDonald's in Split for 10 years, and after that I did choose another franchise business, which is sign stores. But before I start, I would like to know how many of you understand the difference between franchisor, franchisee, master franchisee. Please raise your hand. Okay. Okay, not many. So I'll write down for you to. So, franchisor, for example, you all know about McDonald's. Franchisor is McDonald's corporation, and basically they own the brand, they own rights, and if they want, they have two kind of stores. They have corporation stores, which they're owned by them, and they have franchisee stores which are owned by private entrepreneurs. And some entrepreneurs own more than one store. And for example, if you want to start your own system and you want to be a franchisor, you have to start in a pilot store. So basically, when you open that store, in that store, you have to test your business system. That system has to be successful. You can't have concept on the paper and start to look for franchisees and tell them this concept should work. It's not tested, but I'm sure it is great. It has to be successful. And also, during that time, when you start to develop that pilot store, you have to switch strategies, you have to switch operation, and you have to document everything on the operation manual. So when you're done with that pilot store, you have to start to sell to franchisee, as McDonald's did. So first 10 franchisees is critical. They have also to be, they need to be successful also, because it will help your system. If they all fail, there is no business, there is nothing. And after this is done, there is all about pilot store. It is concept system, and it is one kind of business. But after that, it starts another kind of business, which is sales, which is also very important, because if there is no sales, you can't find franchisees. So when about McDonald's, the story is Ray Kroc was founder of McDonald's, and he was basically salesman of shake machines. You know what is shake machine? Yeah. To prepare shakes. And he was salesman, and he found out that one restaurant in San Bernardino was doing great, and he was surprised that this restaurant was much better than other restaurants, and he came to find out what it's all about, and he saw a concept which was different than other stores, and he made a deal with McDonald's brothers, and that was the start of that business. So usually most of franchise during this time, if anyone wants to ask something, just raise hands, don't bother. Most of franchise stores, franchise systems are based in United States. And what they do, they start usually with a pilot store. And when they're done with this, they start to spread franchise stores all over the country, United States. And when they're done with United States, I don't know how many of you are from United States. Okay. So most of, great. So when they're done with United States, they start to spread internationally. And most of you are not from United States, so maybe it is interesting for you. So they don't, let's say this is 3 different countries. And when they want to open in this country, they will not open, they will not sell rights to those people individually. They will sell this whole country to master franchisee. And this master, he acts a little bit like a franchisor for this country. That was the situation here in Croatia when I started with Summerjam, which was a sign store. And my role was to be master franchisee and to spread the system. But in my country, this didn't work as in most of Europe, because that franchise rights was pretty expensive, and I couldn't find franchisee who was ready to enter and to follow the system. So if you want to become a franchisor and to start like this, you also need to spread through your country, and maybe the good thing is to, after that, to start to search for master franchisee who need to develop those countries. Difference between when you start as a franchisee, you start on your own, there is also positive and negative thing. Positive thing that by statistic, maybe 20%, if you start by your own, there is a 20% chance that you will get to 5 years of business, and 80% will fail. And when you buy franchise business, it is 80% chance that you will succeed. But that is a good thing. But on the other hand, you have to pay for that. It is much more expensive to start as franchisee than as you start on your own. But if you start on your own, maybe you will do something wrong and you could fail because of that. And when you start as a franchisee, you need, there is no end for your obligation to franchisor and his obligation to franchisee. Each month you have to pay royalty. It is some kind of tax for franchisor. Usually it is 6 to 8% of your sales. And when you are by your own, you don't need to pay anything for, there is no system. And with this royalty, you have rights to use their brand and their support. So, and you are also part of community. If they have a large number of franchisees, there is larger community. You can contact all those people, ask, they probably, if you have some problem, many of them probably had the same problem, so you can get advice, and that is much easier. If you buy your own, you can't ask anyone. Your competition probably won't tell you if you need help, won't tell you what you should do. Any questions? Okay.
What would you advise for the students coming out of college to start as a franchisee or to start a new business?
It depends by preferences of that person. And also, when you start as a franchisee, you have to invest everything in that store that you start. Franchisor doesn't invest anything in your store. It is everything by yourself. And if you have, and also when you start as a franchisee, you have limitation. You have a box which you can't, if you're McDonald's, you can't start, I'll start another product which is not part of the system. You have to follow the rules. If you're not, you are done, you know. But if you by own, after a couple of months, if you decide to go to a different direction, nobody cares. It is your business, your rights, your brand. You know. And it is also money. It's also important. It is much more expensive. You need the money to become franchisee, and investment. It could be a couple of $1,000 and up to a couple of $1 million. Any other questions? Go ahead.
You said that you have to be successful to give out franchises. What does successful mean in this context? How many stores do you have to own, or what is
You mean as a franchisor or as a franchisee? Franchisor. If you want to start to sell franchise to other franchisees, those stores which already exist has to be profitable. They have to earn the money. If they don't earn the money,
what's the level? How much do you have to have, or how many stores do you have to own to be able to give out franchises?
so when you start as a franchisor, you usually start with that one store, which is pilot store. And if it is everything fine, it is everything. This system works, you have an operations manual, you can train franchisees, and first 10 franchisees, it is critical because they need to be successful. And when other franchisees come and see there is 10 existing stores, they probably speak with those franchisees, how things doing, are they happy with the system, are they profitable? And obviously it is their money, and they'll probably try to find out whatever they can to be sure it is the right thing to do. So, and also brand is important. There is maybe thousands of different franchise systems, but if we start to count, I don't think that we will count more than 10 franchise systems. And it is not the same when you buy a franchise store from McDonald's, which is well known to, I believe, all of us here, compared to if you start with Sinorama, which is probably none of here heard about that system. And also it is difference between if you go business to customers or if you go business to business. Most of those franchisors who owns business to business, it is not well known outside of that area of business. And if you start as a, let's say you are a franchisor and I'm a franchisee, I'm fresh new, I start, I have my store open, I've been through training, and people, and also I have put my website and I have put all things which all those people within the system did. If you start by yourself, you don't have anything to put on the website. You didn't do anything. You don't have any products, any services. So maybe you can buy stocks, photographs, but within the system it is easier. It is easier to start, you know. Okay, go ahead. Master franchisee. As I said, when you start in your own country, you already have your office there, and it is easier for you to give support to all franchisees within your country. But if you want to start in Australia, if you want to start in New Zealand, if you want to start in any European country, it is usual then that those companies start as, for example, in this is one country and there's no one in it. They start with the master franchisee. And master franchisee is basically a company or guy who start at that country and he act as a franchisor in that country. And his duty is to spread a system to find franchisee and to support them and to organize training. And training usually is in main office within franchisor. And also one more thing which I forgot to tell you, one way to go, it is like master franchisee, but here in Croatia, McDonald's had master franchisee, which was owned by them, but in many countries they decide to change strategy, and in Croatia also. So from 16 restaurants here in Croatia, there were 7 restaurants owned by franchisee. I was one of them, and they decided to kill that model and to bring all those restaurants back to system, back to corporation. And when they did that, they sold whole market to master developer. So this master developer owned rights for all those 16 restaurants, and he obviously paid well for that right. And when this was done, I believe that he did open 1 per year new restaurants, and it was all under his company. So he doesn't sell stores to franchisee. So that's why he is master developer. For master franchisee, usually when a franchisor they do advertise a lot with there are specialized websites as FranchiseGate or as entrepreneur.com. I don't franchise mart. There's lots of different websites which is like a directory from different franchisee, and they advertise a lot of there. And they also go to Franchise Expo, which there is a couple of those Franchise Expos in Europe, in our continent. And when someone wants to become a franchisee, basically they do some kind of selection, but basically I believe only condition is that that guy owns enough money to start. And also it's important, I didn't say that before, when you start business like this, you need working capital. So for any business, and for this business also, you can't expect that you will earn money from day one. You won't be able to cover your expenses, utilities, to give paychecks to people. You need to have money for that to cover those minuses. So this period should last from 4 to 6, even to 10 months until you're able to cover just expenses. And then you usually start to earn money. If you don't, it is difficult, it is a problem. Anyone? Okay.
Did you have any problems with the franchisor as you were a franchisee?
You mean with McDonald's or McDonald's? My training was very long with McDonald's. I had to be there for 9 months. And when you start with your training, you start with basic things. I had to clean restaurants in the night shifts and do as part-time students, things. And during that time, I had also training in. I had to go to courses in the office in Zagreb, in Croatia, and and final stage was when I was able to run restaurants by myself as part of my training, and also McDonald's own. It's called Hamburger University in Oak Brook, near Chicago, where their main office is. and we had the final training there in their facility, and it calls Advanced Operational Course. And after that was done, I was ready to open my own restaurants as a franchisee, as other colleagues. Yeah.
How long did it take you to get from a cleaner to someone who manages?
Training was, it was 9 months, but I had to cover all, they call it station, service station where you pay cash registers and when you service food, and also there is a kitchen and there is a office. When you in that office you need to calculate daily usage for all food stuff, and you need to make orders for food, and you have deliveries twice per week, and you need to understand all part of that business to be able to start restaurants to run restaurant by yourself.
But what's the entire time frame from when you inquired about it to you actually opening up your own McDonald's?
In McDonald's, it was not just about my training. It was also important for them to negotiate location and to prepare that location. So I had to wait. After my training was done, I had to wait like 6 months for them to open that restaurants.
So you said it's 9 months, you did 9 months training, and then it was another 6 months.
About 6 months before restaurants was open. And also there was one guy who was also from my hometown, and he also, he was a couple of months after I started my training, he started training, but that restaurants never opened, and he had to sign the contract that McDonald's doesn't owe him anything. And this training was, we had to go to Zagreb, and we have to pay our expenses. We didn't have any income from McDonald's, and we have to invest in restaurants too. So they did offer him a restaurant in Zagreb, but he didn't want to move to Zagreb, and he didn't open his restaurant. He moved to other area of make career in another area, not in franchise at all.
How much did you invest in it?
Usually for McDonald's to open restaurants, you need at least $300,000. But when they start in Croatia, they realize not many people in Croatia own that kind of money. So at that time they develop business facility lease, which was the idea was for us to start with a little money compared to those $300,000, maybe 30% of it, and during that time, and we had to pay lease for all equipment during that time, and after, before, there's also like a business facility lease system and straight franchisees. Straight franchisees, that one who pay $300,000 or plus. And we had to become those, like those straight franchisee. But we never made that kind of money that enable us to become those straight franchisees. So basically, when the franchisor wants, I don't know about other system, but with McDonald's, they don't want you to earn so much money. They want to keep control of that money. They want most from themselves, not for franchisee. And McDonald's is, as many other franchisors, owned by stockholders. And they want, in my opinion, they want to give extra value to shareholders. And to do that, they need to take as much as possible for franchisee.
So today, what is your financial connection to them?
To McDonald's.
Yeah.
There is no connection at all because it is done. It is done. Yeah, we made deal. I left system 2008, and that was it. I had to find another direction, another business, so I did. And here,
How much did you make out of your restaurant?
I don't have problem to that restaurant. I can tell you about sales, what we made per year. That restaurants made like 1,200,000 per year, euros.
How many years were you open?
It was, but it was not exactly each year. It wasn't the same sales. It was raising, but and I was in the business for 10 years, and I can't tell you how percentage, how much I had to pay to them and how much. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone? Sorry? McDonald's. I was done in 2008. And I was first and last individual franchisee of McDonald's. All guys left, 7 of us left before I did. Yeah. I had to, this actually restaurant my restaurants was closed because they had the contract for 10 years. And basically this restaurant doesn't exist anymore. You're welcome.
So now you are in the completely different business. What did you start up?
Yeah, about, that is a good question. As I said before, I have a university diploma of air transportation, and after that I was in food business, and after that I was in sign business, print business. So I didn't say that, and all of us 7 franchisees, after this business with McDonald's was done, none of us continue as a similar business. All of us left that business. And as a franchisee, there was a professor of English, there was a real estate agent, one franchisee. And important for franchisor is to be able to relatively easily can average person transform to franchisee. So whenever, if you want to go to food franchise business or whatever, and you don't have any knowledge of that business before, this franchisor needs to prepare you for that. And that is why they start with the pilot store. Anyone?
What are the other types of resources you need in order to start up a new franchisee apart from money?
Sorry, can you repeat?
What are the other type of resources you need in order to start a new franchisee apart from money?
You mean as a franchisee?
Yeah.
As you need, as you said, to become franchisee, you need to have money, and you need to
Apart from money, what other things?
you need to go through training of that franchisor to be able to open that store and to run it successfully. And you don't need to have a diploma from I don't know where to be able to run, because they need to prepare you, and they have education which was focused on this business. You will not learn how many countries are in the world, capital towns, and you just need to understand business and how to run it. You know, it is education, but it is very focused on the business. And you need to have also to run any business, it is some kind of risk involved. And you can, even if you start as a franchisee, you can fail. There's 20% chance that you will fail in the first 5 years, even as a franchisee. As you run, if you run as a owner independent, there is by statistic 80% chance that you will fail in the first 5 years. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
After all those experiences, could you come back to be a franchisee? Or
It depends, because there is a big difference between all those different franchisees. And I don't know what I would do right now if I find... I was happy in McDonald's when I look back, and it was a great experience for me. And that's why I started to search, after that was done, to search another franchise model. And but now, with all my experience and stuff, I think that I would rather start as independent. You know. Anyone? That's it? Oh. Okay.
What do you do now? What is your business? What do you do at this moment? What business are you running?
I told you I've been in different business in Rama for 7 years. It is sign business, print large prints. When you know what is shopping mall, for example, and in those shopping malls there are lots of stores, and they have different campaigns. And when they do campaigns, sales and stuff, they need signage to stores, 50% off, posters, and light boxes and POPs, materials. We do that kind of stuff. And I took, because I don't have any experience of that, I start as a franchisee in that, as a master franchisee in that business. But I couldn't find franchisees because that investment is maybe $170,000 US, and people just even maybe they don't want or they don't have enough money to start. And even when they started, they need the working capital. As I said, when you start, when you open, you can't expect to cover all your expenses from day one. You need some time to get it. So it is, and after when I realized that it's not possible, and in the whole Europe, only France is successful with this business, I start to live in it, and then maybe two years ago I start to do this as an independent business, because there was no point for me to stay, because I wasn't able to spread that system.
So you were part of Summerjam, but now you run a side business that is not.
Yeah, like many of European stores.
Yeah.
And there is a good point for me, if I'm in the United States, to stay within a system, because they are big, they have purchasing power as a I don't know, 800 stores. So you mean something there. And here, it doesn't mean for customers or for suppliers, doesn't mean for them if you sign a Rama or if you whatever, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Jesam prešao primjer. Thank you. Jesam prešao puno s vremenom. Evo da vratim kemis. Thank you. Mučio sam se s engleskim.
Odlično ide to, prvi, skoro bolje u Hrvatskoj. Samo mi reci lijevo, desno. Mogu s njim? Neće. Samo mi ga pokreni, ne znam zašto. Ajmo molim te pokreni ga, zato što ne znam zašto ne pokreni. Ajde da ćete vidjeti. Hi everybody, it's my pleasure to be with you today. You all look wonderful and happy and shiny and relaxed. Is that true or is it just my vision of you? It's true, okay. So anyway, first I want to welcome you here and thanks to the host for being so good to us and have such a nice hospitality program. Thank you. And the other part, first, before I start, I'm going to tell you I'm not a crowdfund expert. So I'm just a person that started something and was really enthusiastic. Another thing I want to say is probably you come from bigger countries, I suppose. Croatia is pretty small, like 4 million people whole country and 250,000 people in my area where I live. So we had a really, really big challenge to make a campaign that will work, that will be successful and that will reach its goal in the final. Especially because we have a really hard PayPal system. People don't like to use credit cards online and stuff like that. So we had a lot of challenges on the road. Crowdfund is an amazing chance for people to make something of their own, to make their dream come true without being correlated with bigger companies, to make something that is kind of really self-sufficient in a way. So when I first started to make a campaign for my film, I'm going to tell you what was the story, people said, don't do it. And usually when you start something on your own, the first thing people say, don't do it, it's too risky, you're going to fail and stuff like that. And that was a logical sequence for this story. But we made it, and I'm really proud of it, and I'm sure you can do it too. So I'm here to present my story. I'm not an expert for the things that are kind of, oh, somebody is doing the grass. I've heard somebody say to him he won't make it, so he tried anyway. So my name is Bruna, and I'm a film director from Croatia, from Split, and this is my second feature film. I finished an art academy in film media and animation, and this was my second feature film that is double longer than my first one. My first one was about piano player Maxim Mervica, that is a crossover piano player that is pretty famous, especially in the East and in our country too. So after that, I started something that was really meaningful for me personally, and the fact my father was a sailor for 30 years, he was away, and my sister and my family kind of grew without him. So I said, okay, if my family grew like that, probably lots of families grow like that. And of course, as you know, the most famous people and most important people in our lives are our family, parents. So that for me was my father. And I dedicated this film to him because he dedicated his life to us. And in a way, it became a monument for the seafarers all over the world. Now we are cooperating with Humans at Sea, which is the fastest growing community for the seafarers in the New Delhi Wit Center. So basically, we are starting to grow, and it started from small. So first thing we did when we started to make a movie, it's really hard to find people that will give money for something that are not sure what you're doing. So we said, okay, let's prove people we're doing the right thing. And it was really ambitious to make a film that was 95 minutes long, because you have to keep the attention, you have to invest in that in a way, in equipment, people, traveling, finding people to talk to. So we started the crowdfunding with the idea to make something that will help film grow internationally, because we decided that 4 million people is not enough for the Blue Cage, especially because there are seafarers all over the world. I suppose some of you have seafarers in their family. Sailors? Yeah, you do. Okay. So you probably know the story. They leave, they come, children grow up and stuff like that, and nobody really talks about it. And we started the crowdfunding with the idea to present to people internationally, so we used English language so we can communicate with a wider audience in a way. And we made this promo video. So that's what I will recommend first. In case, is there anybody here who wants to start a crowdfunding? You do? Okay. So some of you that don't want to, you should try it because it's really exhausting in a way, but it's a perfect way to get some money that you can make it in a noble sense and use it in something you believe in. So when we started, we decided to present our crew and people that work in the team, and we made this promotion video. I'm going to just play a little part so you can see how did we decide it looks like, but it really depends on the project. If you have something, so, yeah, this is the video. We just played a little bit and I'll continue later.
Hi guys. Have you ever wondered how does the life of a seaman look? How does the life of a man that was marked by a profession actually looks like in the real life? My name is Bruna Bajic. I directed a lot of successful projects, and my goal is to make a new documentary about the Croatian seaman that will go all around the world and demonstrate you how it looks like to be a daughter of a seaman as I am for 30 years. I remember when I was a little baby, my father used to wake up in the morning and he used to leave and say, I'll be back. But it usually passed like 6 months, and then he would come, I would grow up, and for 30 years it went that way.
Nema čovjeka na Kubi zemaljskoj koji more ne voli na jedan način.
Let me introduce you with my team that work with me, and I would like you to be a part of the crew too.
To start working on Blue Cage for me was a pleasure and a joy.
For me, working on Blue Cage was a real adventure and challenge. We would like to introduce you to the stories of sailors and their sea lives.
I ja vas ovim putem pozivam, sudjelujte u njemu, budite dio njega i na taj način dajte prilog pomorsku općenju.
We are a small family with the same goal, to present to you a document about a real sea world. Please, it will be our pleasure for you to join us.
Ja, kapetan Štir, koji sam dio Modrokaveza, pozivam moje drage kolege, ostanite vi dio Modrokaveza.
Vjerujem da će film pomoći i mladim generacijama, a i ostaviti jedan pečat pred onim ljudima koji su godinama plovili i sad su negdje u nekoj zasluženoj mirovini. Kad budu gledali sve ove kadrove, slušali nekakve lijepe priče, da će shvatiti da to sve nije bilo uzalud.
I know this is a bold statement, but please don't let this documentary be as bold as I am.
My pleasure in the final after 30 years is that I can dedicate to my father a film about Croatian seamen, about the people from the Mediterranean Sea that were traveling all around and that left a pretty amazing influence in the worldwide seaman's life.
Zar vas nije uvijek interesiralo kako izgleda život pomoraca? Ja sam supruga kapetana koji plovi već 30 godina i želim vam ispričati ovu priču. A isto tako, sudjelujte vi u ovoj priči. Nećete poželiti.
So when we started to think about the promotion, when we started to think about the promotion video, we decided we want something that will be simple, communicative, that will tell the story and the message, because as you know, now I'm talking too much, but I'm aware that a lot of you don't know the segments of the film, so I'm trying to clear the path as I talk. So the Blue Cage actually started as with one good goal, and that's what I recommend to all of you. First, select your target audience. And this is not really a story, it's true, because if you want to present something, you have to know who are the people that will invest in your crowdfunding campaign. And we knew that people who are going to invest are people who have experience in a seafarer's life. Either are those companies that work with seafarers or seafarers on their own. They know the story, so they're potential audience in a way. So when we finished this promo video, we also launched trailer. I think it's the next one. No, okay, this is the official story. We started this Indiegogo. Okay. Please click on the first link. Yeah. Okay, so this is the way it looks like. You have a target, so you say, I need $6,000, as we said, and you have a fixed or flexible funding. So you can choose either you take your money if you don't take your goal, either you don't take your money if you don't reach your goal. And we said we need $6,000 and we're not going to take the money unless we get this money. That is a good thing because you have a sort of a race, like in the good Hollywood movies. You have a clock ticking and people easily decide to participate in a way because they say, okay, they're really in a rush, I'm going to help. They feel they are doing something socially good. And you have also your goal to rush a little bit and to do something that will be efficient. So this is this promo video, and on this side, we also made a little logo tips that are not visible here. You have an offer for people. So I didn't mention before, but together with the Blue Cage, we had a book that came out. I wrote a book that is called Director Memoirs. We are having this book printed in London now in English, because this campaign helped us in a way to spread the story worldwide. And we offered this book or thank you on the page of our Facebook, the Blue Cage, because in a really short amount of time, we have more than 14,000 people on our webpage. So in a way, that is a really good success because some official pages for seafarers have like 9,000 people following them. And we have a really large community now. So this is the way I recommend you organize your potential campaign. You put all the information, important info. Also in the end, you put the photos of people that work with you, their short biography, something that is important or relevant for people that are in the crew. These are some recommendations. So this is the trailer of my first feature film. And so that is a kind of a good way to visually divide what is offered and what is this price part and what is offered in a way. So the other part, can we go on with the, možemo samo prebaciti na trailer, molim te. So we also launched the trailer. I think it's, no, ispod još malo. This is it. We made short 1.5 minute trailer about the film, so.
U toj fazi kad sam birao zvanje, to je bilo kao normalno. Poču u školu, znači da je poču nautiku.
Da se suočimo sa pomoćem koji je osutan, kojega ona očekuje, kojega voli, želi.
Godinu dana nadam, to je bilo normalno.
Normalno, meni je tako kada je dječaka, kad se radi za 15 godina, nije me niko zbog posla.
Rođena sam davno, 68. kao vrlo mlada osoba, završila sam već kao premešna 2004.
Na pomorskom poslu, jednostavno dobiješ, da drugu stranu izgubiš.
I onda mi je rekao jednu rečenicu, ne znam što se sad naljutiti, da je ovako javno kažem, ali glasila je doslovno ovako, tko tebe voli?
So in this trailer, we included people that are in the film, some of them. The film is much more dynamic than the trailer, but we wanted to make it a little bit slower so people can correspond with the characters. And we made this soundtrack also because we thought in a way that music can play an important role in the emotion that a certain video transports to people. So this is the way I recommend your page could look like. So some tips and tricks, and then I'm going to show a final video. So what I recommend to you, don't leave the campaign stay still. She really needs to work. So you need to really have your influence. You need to talk to people. You need to believe it. You need to invest a lot of energy. You need to go to potential clients. Like if you have some company that you think that is good for your project, that could help you, that could support you in a way. Before you start a campaign, you prepare a certain amount of money that you will pay not on your own, but some people that are ready to invest. For example, your Facebook friends. They can pay like $20, $30, $50 just to see that the things are moving. People believe more when they see a number there or unless a zero. If they see zero, they say, okay, I'm not going to be the first one. But if you have like $50, $100, $200, they say, okay, this is moving, I'm going to invest. So think about that. Think about pre-planning. It's more important than the fact when the campaign is out. When it's out, the race has started. So if you have good skills, you're going to win. If you don't, you're done. I started first day, and I shut it down immediately because I saw, okay, I'm not ready. I need to do some, this is what I did, okay. So I need to prepare much more. That's my recommendation for you. So in the finals, I'm going to leave you to ask some questions if you have them. I'm just going to tell you what is the product of this campaign and why you should do it. The product is this book that was supported by this campaign, also the 95-minute documentary. And when I was done, I decided that the Blue Cage shouldn't be presented to the people in the cinema, although we had a lot of good audience, and Cineplex offered the first premiere, but they had we had 12 days of full cinema, and the people were really coming in, and they wanted to know more about the Blue Cage. But what I did was I took it a step further, because I thought in a way people that invest in it really deserve something different. So we made a blue story. I organized people. We made a premiere in the ship. So basically we took trans-border ship that was going for Italy from the port of Split. And we found all the necessary papers to get in with the audience. We gathered 400 people for the premiere. We had a sound environment, beautiful blue light, and a blue carpet that was like 50 meters long, which was really something special because I'm not a person that is super famous in country. We did something that really pushed all the crew that worked with me and me also to something different. We now worth more in a way, people believe us more because we really did our project. So what we promised, we did it, and that's the most important thing, that you are somebody that is worth to trust. So I'm just going to show you for the end the way it looked like, because the picture is always much more harder than the words. And some of the, Okay, this is also one more thing, the web page. If there is any possibility, if you have people that can work with you and help you with the design, we made logo, we made everything so that the Blue Cage is kind of easy to recognize anyway. This is our Facebook page. So we have a lot of people that engage every day, comment, they write really amazing messages in the inbox. We say thank you from now to then with some interviews and links that we put so they know that the crew is also included in the whole story, that we didn't vanish in the meanwhile. And just a second. Možemo samo na sljedeći. Na onaj video, modri kavez ekskluziv, onaj. Okay, and also we decided in the end that people need kind of thank you letter. So everybody who invested in our project got this letter of thank you that was put inside of the frame, and we prepared a small dinner. So we kind of really, I remember when are their birthdays and when the Christmas comes or New Year, whatever they celebrate, we try to remember all of those people, even 2 years after the campaign was done. This was a poster for the Blue Cage that was printed and put it on the walls all over the city when the film was premiering. This is a book cover, as I said. And these are the small angels. My sister is a designer, so she made the small angels for the people that were participants, for the camera director, the people that worked with me, and we gave them small presents in the final. Oh, this was supposed to be me. And this is the bald guy from the video. And this was the first Cineplex day when we had one term for the film. And after one day, they called me and they said everything was sold out. They made another premiere in the same day. And after that, instead of one day, we had 12 days in the cinema. So it was really something big. It really proves that you can get your audience with the crowdfunding campaign. This is a premiere day in Cineplex. And this is a final day. So I really want you to enjoy in this small video as we enjoyed the night when the premiere was. Samo proširi, nemoj smanjivati. So what I said in the final... Thank you. So what I said in the final is actually what I'm going to say now in the end, that I'm really happy you're all here. I'm happy we shared a lot of energy today. And thank you for your attention. Good luck with your campaigns, and good luck in your business in general. Thank you for your attention. If there are any questions, I'm here, or later if you want to ask anything, I'm around. You want to ask? Okay. Ask later. Okay. Thank you.
Jel ima neki prezent? Jel radi se ovdje? Molim? Marin. Okay, no problem. Šta kažeš?
Vrata je malo prilomila, tamo sam ja vikala kao do 3 pauze 5 minuta, da se ljudi mogući viški.
Da, ma nema veze. Lijepoš. Čak vi ste ovdje tjedan dana, a?
6, ne?
Koliko ljudi je došlo? 10 u Rovinj na 5 dana i onda ću za toga na godišnji. A sad i dizajn tek tu, a to nama su Belgerovci partneri, tako da svake godine idemo. Ide naš 6 ove godine, onda iza toga ću vjerojatno na godišnji tjedan dana, onda počinje London, Lisabon. Mislim, pomognemo nešto sitno ove godine, ni ne prodajem ništa, ne idem gore. Ne radim ništa. Prošle godine sam rekao doću, neću raditi ništa i uvalilo mi je predavanje, onda ne možeš na šansu. Najbolje kad je predavanje prvi dan. Dođeš, odradiš 5 dana, ne radiš ništa. Meni je bilo tipa treći dan. Em panika, em večer prije uvijek se pripremaš, tako da... Pogotovo što tamo drža predavanje stvarno zahtjevno, u smislu ljudi su tehnički dosta potkovani i moraš doći spreman, znači ne možeš doći on izvući nešto iz glave. Pa bude nešto studenta, mi vodimo i naše s prakse, ali recimo prve godine je baš bio nekakav beginner projekt, a sad već malo to za naprednije, mogu ljudi polagati. A oni ti koji mi dosta putuju, dosta su involvirani u community i počeli su širiti da je dobar event, nije klasična konferencija da ti dođeš i slušaš šta ljudi pričaju, nego radiš. Znači minimalno ti je 1,5 ura predavanje i doslovno radiš. I zato mi što smo partneri, naši ljudi dosta nauče toga gore. Tako da, i kupaš se, trčiš, zajebaš se. A samo što je napor, što mi smo prošle godine otišli, mi smo se vratili satra, s toga ujutro ti počne u 8-9, završiš u 5, u 7 bi već bili na večeri, poslije večera ostaneš pitvan. Onda ostalo nas 50 se skupi na zidiću pijemo. Zaglibiš je prvu večer do 4 ure ujutro, razviš samo mataš ritam. I ono daš zadnji dan je boat trip, to odradiš, mi smo ostali spavaš jedan dan i išli u akvapark, poslije toga došli u Split, ono im izgorili, prijatelj odmah. A vratit se doma u utorak, znači sutra rano. Tako da oni moji ti svi mislili kao lako ići na konferenciju, da nakon toga se rekli da ono sad proveli da treba govoriti. Da. Treba samo uzeti još malo vode. Mogu da bi voda? Voda. Okay, can we start? Hi to all, thank you for coming and listening about my entrepreneurship trip. So my name is Antonio Peric Mažar, I'm coming from Split. I co-founded Locastic in 2011. Since then I co-founded... Okay, sorry, I will try to speak louder. Is this okay? Yeah. Okay. After that, I was involved in Shift Conference for 3 years. I did some other startup projects. I will talk about that later. I started as software developer. I'm still doing some development, but lately I'm doing most of business and management things. And this is a link for a website of my company, my personal email, and my personal Twitter account. So this is a few pictures from my team and my company. We are based in Split. We are a digital and development agency, and we are helping clients build web and mobile applications since 2011. This is our services. So we are doing mobile development, web development, design, training, and consulting. Also, we are organizing some local events, and as I said, we were involved for 3 years in Shift conference. This is my personal timeline of my professional career. So in 2006, I started my college, and that was the normal time after high school. I started the computer science, and in 2007, I started my first job. It was not the job in IT. It was worker in warehouse and furniture delivery. And my second job, so that was the like normal student's job. Every summer I changed something, I tried something new, and still I was not involved in technology. I was through my college, of course. In 2008, I started my second job. It was waiter in small restaurant in Split. And in 2011, I completed the first part of my college. And I actually lost my waiter's job in that year. But that was the crossroad for me, so I built my first website and my first startup. This was for free, actually. I didn't earn any money from this startup, but I learned a little bit about marketing, a lot about building the websites from scratch, because I didn't have any professional experience before that. And regarding that, that was my first professional reference. We got some jobs after that, and I started my professional career in development. Why is this important year for me? Because in this year I started actually earning money from development. And that was like my first failure. I was expecting that I will do a second job as a waiter through the summer, but my boss in that time didn't love me because we had some misunderstandings. And actually she did the best thing ever. She got me fired, and I was focused on the thing that I'm loving and I wanted to do in my future. So in 2010 and 2011, actually last 2 years of my college, I was working as a freelancer. I got my first clients, and I earned much more money than from waiters and delivery job in that time. And this is the most important, I think the most important part of my life, because the founding Locastic later and everything is related with this part here. Why? Because in this part I met a lot of people. I met a lot of people from the business. I learned how to handle the clients. I learned how to handle the projects. I learned a lot of technology and development. And this waiter's job was also very important for me, because in that job you can learn a lot about people a lot, and you can learn how to sell things to the people. That's quite interesting. But that job is simple. It's really simple for someone who is well organized, but you can test a lot of things, how to interact with the people, how to sell them the things that you want them to buy, not what they want when they enter the restaurant or the bar. In 2011, I finished my college, and in that year, a few months after my college, I co-founded my first company. It's Locastic. I'm still there 5 years later. I will talk a little bit about that and what I learned on that trip. Later we were involved and we co-founded Shift Conference Split. It was one of the largest startup events in this part of Europe, and we got involved in a few other startup projects. Today we are still involved in some of them. Okay, so story about Locastic, how it started and why this part of freelancing and my college is very important. Through the college, through the freelancing, I met a lot of people. I met some first clients, and I met my partner today from the company. We started doing few projects together at the beginning, and then later we agreed to start a company. We earned some money through the freelancing, then we invest that money in the company. We started as 2 of us. Today we have 15 people, full-time employee in our company. We didn't want to go out of Croatia. We wanted to build something here, and that was the main idea, that we had to build a good company here and to employ some people to do some great work here in Croatia and Split. Locastic today, as I said, we are today, I think, well-known agency in web and mobile development. We have 15 people, full-time employee. We have dozens of people who are contractors for us, even not from Croatia, from England, from Serbia, from Belgium, I think. So we are doing a lot of projects, and we have clients from all parts of the world. So we are most of our work is for foreign clients, not for Croatian clients. What I learned during this journey is something that I want to pass to you, because I assume that most of you are or on the college or are in the last year of your college. So what I learned during the study is that the most important thing is that you should early start investing in yourself. Try to learn some things that you don't listen on your college. Try to think different. Don't spend your entire time on your college on drinking coffee or just going outside. Try and invest sometimes in your professional career. Do some stupid students' jobs. Just do it. You will learn something. You will get some experience from that. For my first job, I learned how to listen to someone, how to have my boss. Now, today I'm the boss in my company, but I learned how to listen, how to obey with someone who is above you. Think about your future. You are not too young, so try to understand what do you want to do in your future. On first year on my college, I know that I want to build my company sometime. I didn't expect to build it immediately after the college, but I wanted in some short future to start building something like Locastic. Join some student organization. Spend time with the people. You will meet new people. You will get more experience. Try to organize some student events. Do something. You will have something to put in your CVs, but you will get the experience. That's the most important thing today. But don't forget to party. Go outside. Spend a lot of time with the people, because that's the most important thing of everything. Meet people, share your experience with the people, get experience from the other people. That's the point of the conferences, that's the point of the meetups, and that's the point of the going out to your college. You are done with your college, now what? You can start looking for the job, or you can build your job. So the job doesn't wait for you. Be sure that it won't wait for you, but you can choose what you want to do. I will talk about my perspective, so I decided to build my business. As I said, I met a great person who is today my partner. We are still working 5 years later. We are the best friends, but we didn't know each other before we started the business. We started with connecting our contacts. He has some contacts, I had my contacts, so we joined that. And after a few months working together on some project, we decided to create a company. We didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about the leadership, about management, about marketing, we learned through the way, and of course there is certain risk ahead. But when I'm thinking about that right now, that was the great period for taking the risk, because the risk was at the minimum. I didn't have wife, I didn't have child, I didn't have anything at that time. I have all the freedom I can have in that period, and I just completed the college, so I don't have a job. I cannot lose the job. I can just try to start doing something, and if I failed, okay, I will learn something new, but at least I tried. And this is maybe something you should remember. If you don't risk, you don't know how far you can go. So the risk will put you out of your comfort zone, and when you are out of the comfort zone, you will do more. For example, we switched to new offices at the beginning of this year, and that was like fresh start for me, but that put me out of my comfort zone, because we have 15 employees in our company, and we took the office of 310 square meters. That's like this room here for 15 people, and that increased a lot of the cost of everything for, I don't know, it doubles, triples. You need to earn that money, of course. And it was like, what if we failed? What if we, I don't know, do something wrong and we cannot pay that total cost at the end of the month? But that put us out of our comfort zone, and we did more. We increased that to some new levels, and that's just the small change when you are looking like we just changed the space where we are working. Okay, when you are starting your own business, first you need to have some business plan. You need to know what do you want to do. where do you want to be in the future, and where are you now? For example, when we start our company, our idea was to get some foreign clients. We didn't want to work for the Croatian clients, but we know that we will need to spend some time working to get some experience and to earn some money, of course, to start investing our money to getting the foreign clients. We put the goal in 3 years that most of our work will be for the foreign clients. We did that in 2.5 years. You can do that quicker, but we want to be sure that we are doing that pretty slowly and pretty sure. We didn't want to take too much risk in that situation, but today I will change that. I will do that much quicker, but today I have 5 years of experience behind me. I have a lot of contacts and everything else. I didn't have nothing of that in the beginning. And the second important thing is that why do you want to be entrepreneur? Is that money? Is that girl, boys? Is that just because you want to change something or want to build something? I personally love to build things. My first goal is not the money, but money always comes with success. But I want to build something. I want to change something. I wanted to build a good company in our hometown and to hire some people and to make good things here. And I'm still thinking in the same way today. And I love to build new things, new projects, new products, everything what is involved with that. Of course, with the company, you will get the first problems, first clients, first money. It's like triangle, and it's all connected. When you got the first money, you probably will get the first bills you need to pay. That will be the problem for sure in the beginning. When you get the first clients, you will also get the first problems which you need to resolve. So it's all connected. But you will learn a lot. You will move forward every day. You will grow as an entrepreneur, as a person, and everything else. So, of course, after a while, you will start earning some money. If everything goes normal, your company will grow probably. So, of course, after that, you think that you have company, you have everything like high life. And that's how people usually see things when they are looking someone who has good company out. But the truth is not like this. It's more like this. So this is what you can see from the outside. Actually, this is what is inside your company. So usually people see the things that are not real. For example, my mother had the problem with me at the beginning because she thought that I'm my own boss and I can have as much free time as I want, and I don't have time at all. So the most precious thing for me at the moment is the time, because you cannot buy time, you cannot get some additional time, and you need to think about your time, especially as an entrepreneur, as much as you can. Of course, people who don't have their own business, who are not involved in building some business, won't understand how much problems you have, how much time you need to involve, how much money actually you will invest in your company until you start earning some money. Of course, you need to have a lot of skills for business. So you will need to be great at leadership, at marketing, in my case in development, in sales, communication, administration. You will find some things that you didn't even know that there exist. Especially if some of you are from Croatia, when you start to deal with administration, you will try to probably kill someone, because it's pretty hard, it's awful, and it slows you down a lot. You will need to hire some people, and then you will find some other problems, how to hire someone, how to hire good people, how to hire best people, how to fire someone. This year I got in a situation when I first time need to fire someone, and it was pretty hard thing to do for me personally, especially if you have some small company with really good team, with really good people, but if they don't fit and they are a good person, it's pretty hard to fire them. But you know that is good business decision and you need to do that. And I really had a problem with that. And I'm still not comfortable in firing the people. I'm more like hiring them than firing them. But you will do mistakes and you will need to fix them as soon as possible. You will need to be the superhero inside your company, that's for sure. If you have any questions or something, just raise your hand. You can interrupt me at any moment. Okay, so entrepreneurship is really like roller coaster, is really adventure. You will have a lot of high peaks, low peaks. You will have a lot of great moments when you think you are on the top of the hill and you can do anything, and you will have really, really depressive periods when you think that you can do nothing, but you need to stay focused and push forward, because nothing, if something's bad happen, if you resolve that, in future you will probably get some good things. We lost some projects during these 5 years because, I don't know, some companies lowered the price or something else. I was like really pissed about that things. But tomorrow you get some better project which you cannot take if you took this one before. And this is how it actually looks like. You need to stay focused on your goals, and you need to keep pushing. So if there is problem on your road, just try to go through it, go around it, go another way, go about it, or just go and fight it. So resolve that problem. Like firing the people. You need to sit there and tell someone, okay, the bad things are that, the good things are that, but I need to think about my company, about other team members, and you need to do what you need to do. And this is like, if you want to, this is most about IT, so if you want to be entrepreneur, I think the two important things are this one. Follow your passion and use your gut feeling. Sometimes logic say like do something, and your gut feeling says do another thing. I always listen to this one. And I made mistake when I use my logic. When I use my gut feeling, I didn't make any mistakes. I'm talking about choosing the people for our company in last 5 years, for example. And of course, test. Do something, put it to the market. If you failed, it's okay. You will learn something, make changes, and go again. It's always the same process. When you decide to start your own business, you will maybe have conflicts with your parents, with your friends, with, I don't know. Because, for example, in my situation in 2009, 2010, 2011, the situation on the market was very bad. A lot of people got fired. It was time of the crisis in Croatia. And for example, my mother was very scared about, like, people are getting fired, you are trying to build your own company, you are not normal. But try to move that people from yourself. I didn't get in fight with my mother, but I said, like, I want to build this. I can try. If I fail, I will find some regular job. And listen to yourself. Pick your way, go to that way, and don't listen to people who are trying to stop you in that direction. Try to focus on the good things, not the bad things. That's mostly it, what I have to say. So if you have any questions. Okay, you first.
How many staff did you say you've got? 15 or 50? And when you started, so the day you got your premises, did you start your business with your staff, or did it grow gradually?
I started with my partner. Two of us started the company. After 4 months, we hired third one, and then we started through the years hiring some new people. We will probably hire more people by the end of this year. Yeah.
At the beginning, when you started with your partner, what was more difficult? Was it to find a potential client, or was it finding capital for the actual company to grow?
We had some clients because he was also working as a freelancer. I was working as a freelancer, so we had some clients, and we were sure that we can earn some money for investing in our company. But the most difficult thing was administration in Croatia, and second was to get our goal to put our services in a foreign market, not to stay in Croatia. So we actually focused that from the day one, and then we start to travel to the conferences, meeting the people, write the blog and everything else, do some marketing thing. We didn't know actually how to reach that. We put that as a goal, so let's find a way how to get. Yeah, we did everything by two of us, like invoices, marketing, sales, project management, development, design, everything, just two of us. We didn't have money for hiring someone else at the moment, yeah. Okay.
Were you able, so you're both working freelance, how easy was it to bring your customers from both sides together and keep them with you to use your services as a partnership?
It was pretty easy because my partner is a designer, I'm a developer, so we just connected that two services. That was the easiest part, actually. Okay, you.
What was your biggest challenge so far?
Whew. Hiring people is always the challenge because you want the best people in your team, and it's quite hard to find the right people that will fit in your team, because we have specific culture inside our company, and we want the people to fit inside it. But we also want the people to have great skills in development, in design, and everything else. So we actually failed a few times, but you learn from that fails. And there are always some projects that are hard to complete, but that's the regular part of the job. I will say hiring and putting the team together is the toughest thing at the moment. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Please, please do not become an entrepreneur. Forget all this stuff that you've heard these last couple of days, and don't be a business owner. Look, I've mentored hundreds of entrepreneurs. My message, whether it's my radio show, my best-selling books, my website, my social media, it's been seen by millions of people, and it's not worth it. When people want to start a business, the first thing they come to me and I ask, why do you want to start a business? What's the number one response I get? I want to make a lot of money, right? Well, in the United States, where we have a very favorable entrepreneurial environment, 4% of businesses ever get to a revenue of $1 million or more. Now, $1 million may sound like a lot, but if you take $1 million business, net profit averages at about 10%. That's $100,000, paying back your debt that you needed to start that business, and you're at about an average salary for the United States. So if you start a business, you have a 4% chance of making an average salary or greater. Some people come to me and they say, hey, I want to start a business, I have a great idea. I say, well, become an inventor, become an engineer. Other people say, hey, I'm a leader. I say, well, become an executive, become a manager. People say I'm competitive. I say, well, be in sales. And so that's why I'm telling you, it's not worth it to be an entrepreneur. Now, if you're sitting in that seat right now, and you're saying this tall, skinny guy on stage is full of shit, because I'm going to start that business anyway, then you just might have what it takes to become an entrepreneur. Because it is by far the most difficult thing you will ever do in your life. But it's also by far the most fulfilling. And it's one of the best things you can do to affect change in this world. More than politicians, more than sports stars, more than actors, business people are the ones with influence in this world. And that's what we're here to do today, to bring this out in you. Now, if you're sitting there and for some reason, in 5 minutes, if I could talk you out of being an entrepreneur, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur, which is okay. You should be an employee, because me and the other entrepreneurs in here, we're going to need employees so you can work for us in a couple of years. And that's perfectly okay. But this is about being an entrepreneur, and what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you the one thing. We're learning so many great tactics and strategies about business today, and they're all awesome. But without the one thing that I'm going to teach you, the one fundamental thing you need to start with, and that's what I'm going to teach you. I'm going to reveal what that is in a couple of minutes. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about my background. So again, my name is Michael Anderson. What happened with me is in San Diego, I started a couple businesses, a couple software companies, and one of them did pretty good, Radiant Technologies. And it ended up being on the Inc. 500, 5,000 fastest growing companies. We were the #1 best place to work in San Diego. It was actually the year after I stepped down from the CEO, but I never tell anybody that. And I was nominated for most admired CEO in San Diego. I guess they didn't have tallest CEO, otherwise I would have been a shoo-in. But it did pretty well, and I'm really proud of that. But even though I had all this material success, I was making the money, and I was getting this media, and I was doing all these things, I didn't have that joy and fulfillment. All that external things did not bring what I was looking for in here. So I did something really unique. I said, you know what, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get happy. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get content and find this fulfillment. So what I did is I earned a really unique master's degree in spiritual psychology. So when I say spiritual psychology, in the next 25 minutes, we're going to meditate and do a lot of hugging. Okay, I can tell all the UK and Croatians are like, hugging, oh my gosh, but all the Spanish people are like, yeah, let's go, let's hug, right? No, what spiritual psychology is, we learn psychology from a place of love and compassion. So a lot of the stuff I learned is based on, if you know Carl Jung, Joseph Campbell, Fritz Perls, all these established psychologists. Because I'm a psychology guy. I want to know, like, there's a lot of self-help and all this other stuff out there, but what I teach is based on psychology. And to me, the #1 thing that entrepreneurs need is we need to overcome procrastination, fear, and resistance. Because I'll tell you what courage is. Courage isn't doing something bold but not having fear. That's not courage. Courage is having fear and overcoming that fear. And I'll tell you, what I thought is once I would get to a certain level that I wouldn't have fear anymore. That is absolutely not true. When I deal with a lot of really rich, really powerful people, and I do some one-on-one work that's really deep. And you know, what what almost each one of them admit to me when we get really deep into our work together is they say they feel like a fraud. Because what happens as entrepreneurs, we keep trying to strive for something bigger, strive for something bigger, and finally we achieve it, but we've never done it before. So what happens is we have all these people looking up to us, and then we're in a position that nobody's ever trained us for. Sometimes we don't have mentors, and it is scary. It is really, really scary. So what this is about is learning to deal with that fear, learning the psychology behind that fear. Now, when I say procrastination, fear, okay, who's one of my Croatian people that knows good English? Raise your hand. Who's a Croatian person that knows good English? What's the word for procrastination in Croatian? What is it? What is it? Stand up and say it loud. I want everybody to understand what procrastination is. Stand up. I know it's scary. I'm scared too. Stand up. Let's go. Yeah! Spanish. I need the same thing from a Spaniard here. Who's a Spanish? What's the name? Stand up. How do you say procrastination in Spanish? Jesus. All right. So when I say procrastination, resistance, and fear, there's one thing in your life that comes forward. Maybe you have fear about something in your project team. Maybe it's asking that girl out. Maybe it's talking to your teacher about something. Maybe it's starting that company. What are you fearing? And I want you to take whatever that is, and right now, and so if you learn why you have this fear and this resistance and procrastination around this issue, if I teach you the psychological reason why that occurs and how to overcome it, will this be a successful session? Yes. Will this be a successful session? Gee, you guys are tough. Will this be a successful session? Yes. All right. Because if you said no, I don't know what I'd talk about for the next 20 minutes. But I want you to take whatever you came up with, and I want you to put it in the back of your head, because we're going to get back to it. So I just want you to take it and store it back there, because we're going to come right back to it. And before that, we talked a lot about comfort zone. I mean, the last speaker mentioned it, Simon mentioned it, and we have comfort zone. I need a volunteer. Come on up. Yay. What's your name? Karina. Karina's up here. What courage for Karina? What courage for Karina? All right, so we talked about comfort zone. I'm going to get crystal clear what we mean by comfort zone. So say Karina is in her comfort zone, and there's a little circle that says comfort zone right around Karina, right? So Karina, what's it like in your comfort zone?
I'm happy.
You're happy. Yeah. It's easy, comfortable. By definition, you're comfortable, right? Yeah. So when Karina takes one step out of her comfort zone, what's it like?
I'm unsure.
Unsure.
Unsettled. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's risky. I know for me, I get anxiety. I got a lot of anxiety when I'm outside of my comfort zone. And what do we want to do? Where do we want to go when we're outside of our comfort zone? We want to go back into our comfort zone. But what this is about being okay with the anxiety. Think about, how does anxiety show up for you? For me, it shows up, I get it right here. It's like everything starts moving really, really quickly, and it's like it spreads, and then I feel paralyzed by fear. Can anybody relate to that? Yeah, that's how anxiety. And think about how many things that holds you back from in life. How many times you had an opportunity and you're like, oh my God, I should go for it, and I want to do it, and all of a sudden, boom, it goes right by you. But as entrepreneurs, that's what we got to do. We got to say, you know what, I'm having that anxiety, and I'm going to go for it anyway. Because that's what stepping out of your comfort zone really means. Because once you step out of your comfort zone and you spend enough time outside, what happens? What happens to your comfort zone?
Starting to feel a bit more settled and more comfortable and
yes,
a bit more okay.
Absolutely, and your comfort zone grows. And that's what growth is. And that's what we're talking about doing today. Let's give Katrina a yay, all right. And I'll tell you what, stepping on this stage with a tall, loud American is probably stepping out of a lot of people's comfort zone. So good job. So good job. All right, so back to overcoming procrastination, resistance, and fear. I was at a networking event, and we know at networking events, in a way, this is a networking event, right? So when you're a business person, we go to a lot of these things where you go to meet other people. You know, there's a bunch of business people there. You probably have these as students, is that right? I mean, a birthday party in a way is a networking event. Anywhere you go that's social and you don't know a lot of other people. And so I get to this event, we pull up, I park my car, I'm walking in alone, and all of a sudden I see three people. They're in a bit of a semicircle, and they're talking to each other, and I can tell by their body language they don't know each other. So I'm like, hey, what a great opportunity for me to go up, introduce myself to these people, and do what I came here to do. So as I'm walking up, out of the corner of my eye, I spot the bar. And for some unknown reason, instead of continuing off to talk to these people, I change directions. I walk and I get a drink. 5 minutes later, here I am, I'm sipping on my drink all alone, and I'm like, oh my God, I had the perfect opportunity to go talk to some people, yet here I am alone. Why did I make that decision? Why did something in my brain, something in my conscious or subconscious, why did it tell me to deviate? What was I afraid of? Rejection. I was afraid of rejection. How many people have ever been to a networking event, they went and they introduced themselves to someone, and they said, oh, sorry, I don't like you. Anybody ever been rejected at a networking event, right? It's totally an unrational belief. It's an irrational belief. And here I'm a 45-year-old guy, and I still have these irrational beliefs. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. It holds us back in life. Now, what if we could get rid of that? What if we could overcome that? What if we could do that? So, absolutely, I was afraid of rejection. Let me tell you another story that has to do with this. I actually met this lady for coffee. In San Diego, we meet a lot of people for coffee, as I know my Croatian friends can understand. We had an okay lunch, and there was a couple follow-up things to do. She was in a similar type industry. And this is actually, in a way, hard for me to talk about. This is a weird story. She sent me a note a couple hours later. She says, you know what? To make a long story short, she was like, basically, I don't really like you. I don't really connect with you. And I was like, do you not know who I am? Oh, my God. But she told me this, and actually it threw me for a loop for about a half a day. I was like really judging myself. Oh, my gosh, what's wrong? Did I say it? I replayed almost every word that I said. I'm like, did I say something to piss her off or whatever it was? And I didn't. It was pretty, normal, I thought, coffee meeting. Then I really, really thought about it. And actually, that was one of the best gifts anybody has ever given me, because I realized not everybody is going to like me. And by realizing that, and by changing my attitude towards meeting people and to letting go of the attachment of trying to be somebody that I think that they want me to be, all of a sudden then I'm truly myself. And the funny thing is, when I'm truly myself, I'm more likable, right? Because that's what we want to connect with. We connect with vulnerability. We connect with people who are being themselves, not when they're trying to be somebody else. And when I am at networking events now, I go up and I say that, you know what, this person may or may not like me, which is the absolute truth. Some people are not going to like me, and I'm okay with that. And you know what, I'm going to spend time with the people that I connect with, and I'm going to spend time with the people I get along with. I met a guy one time, and he traveled a lot. I think he worked for a university, and he traveled a lot, and so he would be at hotels often alone. And I don't know, I know you guys are a little bit younger in your career, but when you travel a lot, it's like you stay at hotel after hotel. It's like, I don't want to eat dinner alone. I don't want to get room service. You know, we sort of crave somebody to eat with. So he would go down to the restaurant, and he would find people, and he would ask, can I join you for dinner? You know, this is a random hotel. Here's some guy coming up say, hey, can I join you people for dinner? I'm like, whoa, that's pretty bold. I'd never done that. That's like, wow. And I'm like, I'm curious, like, how often does this happen? Does this happen like 90% of the time did they say yes? And he's like, no, about 1/3. I'm like, so every time you're out for dinner, like, it's like, can I join you? No. Can I join you? No. Can I join you? Yes. I'm like, damn, this dude's got balls. Sorry. Cajones. Oh, that's Spanish anyway. But man, imagine this. Because I said, well, how do you do it? He's like, well, you know, some people are on a date. They're having a business conversation. They're not saying no to me. They're just saying no to the thing. And why would I take that personally? Even if they don't like how I look, how I come up, that's okay. What do I care? And I'm like, wow, what a courageous thing to do. What a really self-aware thing to do, to be able to go up and live your life without this attachment, without this caring. But as entrepreneurs, you know, we have these ideas, we have all these things, and what's interesting is we get all tied up in that this is our person, this is our personality, our business, our idea is what gives us worth. I do a lot, when I give this talk, How to Overcome Procrastination, a lot of people come up to me and they say they want to write a book. Well, I'll tell you what, writing a book is really hard. In fact, what happens is anybody have an idea for a book they've ever wanted to write, or a blog or something like that? Anybody? Yes. And what happens is you'll have an idea for this book, and I'll say, how long have you had this idea? They'll say 10 years. I say, well, how far are you? And they say, I haven't even started yet. Because how often do we have these ideas for this business, this book, this blog, this whatever it is, and we talk about it with our friends, maybe we even make the checklist, but we don't even start on it. That ever happen to anybody here? Yes, exactly. Because what happens is we don't even start on it until we know we're going to be perfect. Well, let me relate that to a book, because the first time you write a book, the book's going to suck. Because you know what? Writing a book is freaking hard. And what happened is I wrote my first book. I wrote this draft, and I thought it was the best book ever. And I went to my book coach, and I figured I'm going to give it to my book coach. He's going to call me up in a week and be like, dude, this is the best book I ever read, and this needs a couple tweaks. But, you know, I made that call after the book coach read it for the first time. And he said, Mike, I've got some feedback for you. Do you want the blunt feedback or the nice feedback? I go, I want the nice feedback, because I don't like how you asked that question. And he said, all right, well, your book's not very good. I'm like, what? What were you going to say if I wanted the blunt feedback? But he was right, and I rewrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it. And to me, I wrote my book 7 times to put out one book, and it got to be a bestseller. But that's because I spent so much time. But there's so often where we don't even go into something because we think it's going to be perfect, but that's not how you learn. You learn by trying. I learn by doing. We learn by doing. You don't want a pilot that has just read out of a book and flies a first flight with you on it. That pilot goes through these different types of iterations where they fly more and more. That's why your first book's going to suck. Your second book's going to be a little better. Third book, you're starting to get it. Fourth book sells well, and the fifth book is your bestseller. But you have to take that approach to life. The things that you're going to do, that when you go into business, you're going to have to iterate, and you're going to have the internal courage to take that feedback, to take that from the mentors, to take that from the market, and to really listen and get out of the way of what that. You're leaving? Oh my God! I'm halfway done, and you're leaving already. Oh. Yeah, and in fact, that's what happened. I spoke in, I think it was Nashville. And we were having dinner with a couple of the guys, and the one guy he was about a 55-year-old guy. He owned a family bakery. They had a manufacturer of baked goods. He's like, Mike, you'd be really proud of me. I'm getting out of my comfort zone, and I'm joining an acting class. I'm like, well, tell me about this acting class. He's like, well, it's a bunch of experienced actors, and they're going to have me in, and I'm going to join a class. I'm like, okay, well, just to set your expectations, you're going to be a horrible actor. He's like, well, what kind of encouragement is that? I'm like, dude, these are experienced actors. Actors are hard. You know, but how many times do we get caught up in these, in our head about how things should be perfect? Because you know what? We're humans. We're perfect in our imperfectness. We're meant to be imperfect. We're meant to go through these growth challenges. Now let's go back to the psychology of procrastination. And I'm going to give you 2 examples to see how this plays out. My father was, so when you're 4, 5, 6 years old, there's only one thing that's important in your life. And that's the love and adoration of your caregivers, normally the love and adoration of your parents. Like when I'm 4, 5, 6 years old, I don't care what I'm playing with. I don't care what I'm wearing. I just want mom and dad to love me, right? That makes sense. Now, if, you know, my dad, for example, he was pretty hard on me. So say I'm 4 years old and I'm in a race with 100 other kids. And they say go, I run as fast as I can against all these. I come in 3rd out of 100 kids. What does my dad say to me? Should have been 1st. What's wrong with you, man? You're not putting your heart into it. You're not swinging your arms hard enough. I'm like, okay, Dad, I got this one. Next race, 100 other kids. Pump my heart as hard as I can. I run as hard as I can, and I come in 2nd. What does my dad say to me? First loser, kid. What's wrong with you? God, idiot kid. Which isn't so far from the truth, right? How many of us have gotten some feedback sort of like that, especially from our fathers? And it's tough. And he means the best. He wants to toughen us out. He wants to make us strong. But knowing that the number one thing in my life is the love and adoration of my father, what connection do I make in my mind? What connection do I make? What's that? That I'm not good enough. That I link love with coming in first. Perfection equals love, right? Coming in first, and then I will get that from my father. Second quick example. I get an A+. I come into my mom. I'm like, oh, Mom, I got an A+. She goes, oh, Michael, you're perfect. I love you so much. Perfection equals love, right? So next time I can take a hard test or an easy test, which test do I take? I take an easy test. Next time I can take an easy test or no test, which test do I take? No test, because there's no chance of failing. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what procrastination is. That's why I want you to take that subject that we were thinking about before out of where you stored it, what you're procrastinating. How is that you taking no tests? How is that you playing it safe? How is it you not putting yourself out there? And that's where procrastination comes from. And so the next time you have to do something like this, next time you're in your group and you want to speak up, but you don't know if you're going to look stupid or not. Bless you. Holy cow, Simon. Jeez. I felt that from over here. But the next time you have this opportunity, and the next time you put yourself out, you know what? You may look stupid or you're not. I'm not going to say you're going to speak out and you're not going to look stupid. But the point is, looking stupid is okay. The point is, you're going to put yourself out there, because I learned by doing, and the more we put ourselves outside of this comfort zone, the more we're aware of this anxiety, the more we can stay in that anxiety and be okay with ourselves, the more you're going to achieve in this world. Now, I'm known for soul-centered leadership. We're talking about entrepreneur, but what my brand is soul-centered leadership. Because I think as leaders, I talked about the best way. I mean, you know, Spain and Croatia, to a lesser extent Britain, your economy is not doing great. You need jobs. And they find out 90% of new jobs are by small businesses. They're not by the big businesses. Because what happens is small businesses innovate. You guys are the people that can take risks. And then a big company buys it and you can scale. So if you want to do something for your country, the best thing you can do, the most noble thing you can do, is start a business and have it succeed. And go for it and go for it and go for it and have it succeed. Now when I talk about soul-centered leadership, the last little bit I'm going to leave you with is from that. Because if you do believe in a higher power, whether you're religious or just spiritual, and you believe we're connected, and if you believe this higher power is a creator, and you believe if it is a God, and you believe that the God is a creator, and you believe we are made in the image of our creators, what does that make us? And that makes us creators. That means our nature, our purpose on this business, on this earth, is to create. Some people create families, some people create kids, and you can create that too. But if you can create a business and do that with love, and have a great ecosystem that you really treat your employees, your suppliers, your customers, everybody involved, the community, you give back to them, that's the best way on earth that you can affect the world. So everybody go out there and start your business. Thank you.
you.